There it is. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Two Critical Podcast. I'm your host, Thomas. This is my co-host, Rob. And I just got blurry for a second. Welcome to episode... This is 65 of the Two Critical Podcasts.
Is it really?
Is it really? Okay, so today's topic, of course, is going to be one we haven't talked about, I don't think, ever really. We talk about it a lot when we're on the phone, but never on the show. The man, the myth himself, Mr. Tom Cruise. But we were talking about Marvel, of course, on one of our conversations, and we had said that an incredible way that they could rejuvenate the Marvel universe was to give Tom Cruise his chance and let him be Tony Stark and Iron Man. And then as you and I were talking, you said that, go ahead with your theory. And I think this is amazing.
If you're going to bring him in, and with Secret Wars, we're going to be able to recast anyone we want to recast. He can play any character.
Yeah.
I think the most obvious one, it's Nick Fury. He's Ethan Hunt. Now instead of a Nick Fury who's older, which granted Tom Cruise is older, I think.
But not Samuel L. Jackson old. Right. Not sitting down in every scene old.
Age-wise, I think he might be older than Samuel L. Jackson. I'm not sure. But just active ability on screen. Imagine if Nick Fury was Ethan Hunt.
Yes. Which essentially is kind of what he really is. In the later Marvel projects, you saw that they were going that direction. They made the people in S.H.I.E.L.D. way more involved, and they needed to make the human beings.
Well, we even said let's go a step beyond, and we'll bring in Rebecca Ferguson to play the Maria Hill character.
Yeah,
we're pretty much just going to recast everything people from Mission Impossible. But
yeah, go ahead.
Everyone talked about Tom Cruise as Iron Man because obviously he was in talks to play him before RDJ originally. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of people that thought he might show up as Iron Man in Multiverse of Madness when they had, the Council and Reed Richards shows up and the Illuminati and all of that. And I was just thinking about it, and I said to Tom, the one reason we're never going to get it is because they will not cast a white actor to play Nick Fury, which if that's what we're going to do across the board is just keep everything comic accurate, fine. But then I don't want to hear about a black Batman or a black Superman because in the comics they're white. Now, I have no problem with a black Batman. I have no problem with a black Superman. But then we also should be able to say, what if Nick Fury was white?
But Nick Fury was white.
He's seen shit that'll turn you white.
No, Nick Fury was white.
I'll get that vampire's blood if I have to suck it from her neck.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they made a movie long time ago, and David Hasselhoff played Nick Fury in the movie.
No shit.
Image
search. Oh my god, he was originally white. I'm looking at the image searches now.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I think he'd be.
Which makes your argument even.
Yeah, I mean, again, and I'm not trying to make it about race. I'm just saying, like, there's certain characters we know they're not going to change the race of. Like, we're never going to see James Franco playing, Black Panther.
Right.
Which is totally fine.
Right.
But yeah, I'd love to see an actual spy. Like, if they said they're coming out with a Nick Fury movie tomorrow, starring Samuel L. Jackson, pass, super pass, uber pass. I couldn't pass fast enough.
Yeah.
Now, if you say they're coming out with a Nick Fury movie, it's essentially Mission Impossible.
Right.
And I know that we're just, stealing the homework, but like, whatever, Jason Bourne, 007, a real spy movie, something to do with the comics where, whether it's the Thunderbolts or something behind the scenes. How much more intrigued would you be if it was Tom Cruise playing that character? And we've talked about this before. Tom Cruise, I hated him for so long. And he just kept making good movies to the point where I finally said, I give up. He wins. He's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, Mission Impossible 1 was mediocre. 2 was pretty good. No, sorry.
Yeah,
One
you
was
got that
one. Yeah, I get that flipped.
Yeah.
1 was pretty good. 2 was mediocre. 3 was pretty good. And then ever since then, they have just been better and better and better.
Right.
I mean, they had Philip Seymour Hoffman as the heavy, and
he was
and it
believable.
worked.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Right.
He was fantastic.
Yep.
Jeremy Renner, I've said for a while, could be brought back in, maybe as the Brandt character. But long story short, we're about to get our, 7th Mission Impossible? Dead Reckoning Part 2 will be 7.
Right.
And I can't wait to see. I say about to get it. It's going to be a while because they delayed it again.
Right.
But my point is that they're great. So why not have is it McQuarrie? It's Steve McQuarrie, right?
Christopher McQuarrie.
Chris McQuarrie.
Yeah.
Have him direct the Nick Fury movie.
I agree.
Starring Tom Cruise.
I agree.
I just think it'd be a home run.
So if Marvel said, listen, Tom, we're going to give you what we gave Robert Downey Jr. Because if they're giving one guy $52 million,
he's got to get 53
to be in a movie for 18 minutes and not do the level of heavy lifting that Tom Cruise is going to do.
Cruise will hella ski off of a roof.
Yeah. And so they paid Jack Nicholson, I think, in the end, like 70 something million for Batman. That was in 1989.
And it was worth it. But with inflation, that's what?
66 bucks. 66 bucks. Yeah. So if they cut him a check for $80 million, that is a drop in the bag. Okay. And if they said to Tom Cruise, get the people that you need, bring in your team, the people that he's comfortable working with, and you just kind of let him off the chain, and they give him the parameters of the action hero, like skeleton of the story and what he's supposed to do. And then his team looks at it, and then his team comes up with one of those car chases that they have in all the Tom Cruise movies, except it's Marvel characters in the vehicles. Now, there's not a character in the Marvel movies, not an actor in the Marvel movies that could pull off what Tom Cruise does in every single one of his movies. I just watched John Wick 4 the other night, and Keanu Reeves has a shootout while he's in a car with both doors missing from his vehicle in that rotary in France, the same rotary that Tom Cruise had his motorcycle chase in Fallout, right? Mm-hmm. So that scene with Keanu Reeves was absolutely outstanding. I've never seen another scene done like that. That type of action with Tom Cruise, and you saw both those guys' faces the entire time. Keanu is drifting in a car, one hand around a group of cars with other cars driving around him, with his right hand firing at all, and you can see his face clear as day the entire fucking time. And it's like watching a high wire act because he's in there doing it, right? That level of realism and being able to do that in a Marvel movie, I think would be so amazing.
And it'll never happen.
It'll never happen.
No.
It'll never happen.
No, but it started out like we were just talking like, what could happen after, who even knows that they're going to go to Secret Wars now? I think they're going to, but now that they're going to divert from Kang allegedly and go to Doctor Doom, it might take longer. I don't know. I'm finding it harder and harder to defend Marvel at all. I mean, 3 years ago, it was the easiest thing in the world to go, Marvel's great, DC sucks.
Right.
And now it just feels, I'm not saying that I think DC is doing great either. James Gunn's plans don't exactly, they don't have me very excited. But at Marvel, I don't know what the next thing I'm really looking forward to is.
So you talked about copying people's homework. So in Captain America Civil War, the last sequence where Black Widow, she has the mask on, she pulls the face off, and like they even took it like way further, way beyond Mission Impossible. They didn't even try to make it practical at all.
Right.
They have like the CGI digital mesh that comes off, right? So they were already doing the Mission Impossible stuff.
Just not as well.
Correct. But that scene in Mission Impossible 6,
Fallout or Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Dead Reckoning, when Tom Cruise comes into the room and Kittredge is giving that big briefing and he throws the
Sorry,
green
no.
gas.
No, that's 7.
Are we
yeah.
getting 8? We're getting 8?
Yeah, Fallout is 6 because it's 3, then Ghost Protocol, then Rogue Nation, then Fallout. So yeah, Dead Reckoning Part 2 is 8. Sorry,
Okay.
none of this matters.
Yeah,
but yeah.
So that scene where he throws the green gas, he knocks everybody else out, and then he pulls the mask off. That's incredible. If you set up a scene like that, see, a scene like that should be set up at the end of a Marvel movie, and that is the end credits scene with Tom Cruise as another character. And then
like you think it's Bucky
him up.
Barnes or something. Like you think the Winter Soldier did something, and then you find out it was actually Nick Fury the whole time.
So imagine like someone's been after something the entire time, and they weren't able to get it, and they're like up in like a giant skyscraper, or they're in like like a ship, like almost like the helicarriers or something like that. And Tom Cruise pulls the mask off, reveals himself, steals this thing, and then a bunch of guys with guns come up, and then he does some crazy thing where he jumps through glass and then skydives out and does some crazy ass fucking stunt to close out the movie. And he was in the last 8 minutes or so of your film to set up his own movie. It would be incredible.
You know, it's crazy. 6 years ago today, the first trailer for Infinity War dropped.
Wow.
It's been a long time.
It sure has. Wow. They've done a lot in 6 years.
There's a lot of people that are very much. I'm actually looking at a fan-made poster for Avengers Secret War right now, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is it has Cillian Murphy as Doctor Doom, and I've been hearing that a ton. I'm not necessarily saying that he wouldn't be good. I'm just. Mm-hmm. It seems like that was never really who the fans say it should be. Although I will say Doctor Strange, like Benedict Cumberbatch, the day they said they were making that, I was like, it has to be Cumberbatch. Got to be right. Chalamet. Bang on. I mean, he literally, like, he looks just like Doctor Strange. Like, it was the most obvious thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not to change the subject too much, like, you finished Loki now, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I thought it was better than season 1.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that it's the first thing that they've ever done for Disney Plus that had no reshoots and no rewrites.
I said to my wife a few days ago, not that it really mattered, but I said, where's
my dinner, bitch?
I never thought that Tom Hiddleston would be the best actor to come out of the MCU. And he is. In my opinion, he's the best actor in the MCU.
I might concede that.
So his first 2 episodes of Loki alone I thought they were sensational. Season 2, first 2 episodes were terrific. He was so much more physical this season than in season 1. Season 1, he had the body language and the posture.
I mean, Evans and RDJ are right there too. I mean, Chris Evans as Captain America.
Yeah, but when Chris Evans isn't fighting, he's just standing. He's a guy that plants his feet and does his dialogue. Robert Downey Jr. chews up the scenery because he fucking can't help himself. That's like a nervous twitch that he has. And God knows how many of those lines are actually on the page, right?
What about our guy Zemo? Daniel Bruhl?
Zemo was terrific. I would love to see
I think he'll be back in Thunderbolts.
I hope so. Yeah, I thought he was great. I thought he was one of the best villains that they had. Yeah, but Tom Hiddleston's ability to like really physically like change his performance, I thought was much different from season 1. Like in season 1, he looked like a prisoner that was always about to like run away from them. And he kind of had that posture like he was always in trouble. And then once he started to help everybody in season 2, he was acting quite differently. I thought
Zemo will appear in Thunderbolts, but not as a member of the team, but as an advisor to Val, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
An advisor. That'll probably be a 4-minute scene.
Yeah. That's a waste.
Or he'll be in jail. Yeah.
He's really good.
Do you think they'll ever continue Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I mean, he's Captain America 4 now. I mean, that's his next movie.
Yeah, but will they do the series?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I could see a Winter Soldier series, just not with Falcon.
They should have done a Winter Soldier series. It should be Captain America and the Winter Soldier in a series.
I still struggle with Falcon being Captain America because
It's
if you
terrible.
take away his flight suit, he's just a human.
Don't call
the
them
whole-
terrorists. Don't call them terrorists, Rob.
The whole reason that it makes sense for Winter Soldier is he has the same serum. He is Captain America.
Right.
Yeah,
the shield doesn't make you Captain America.
No, I don't hate it. I'm waiting to see how it is. I know that they did it in the comics, so it's not just they're not totally just throwing a curveball in here. But yeah, I don't know. Marvel's got me really nervous with the fact that they're walking away from Kang. I get it, but I don't know. I don't know. I read something online because I said to you, why wouldn't they just recast him if they can't work with Jonathan Majors because of what he's going through? And I read something online that said allegedly there's a clause in his contract that says he's the only actor allowed to play all variants of Kang the Conqueror.
No. Why would they sign that? Why would they do that?
Now, I don't know if it's true or not. It's something I read on Twitter. I found it right here. Let me see. Who tweeted this? Is this someone reputable? It's a blue check mark, which doesn't mean much nowadays. They got 10,000 followers. It's from a Marvelverse. It's like a, fan source account. It's essentially someone that finds other things and then posts it as if it's their own. But
right.
I don't know. I don't know. I hope that that's not the case. I mean, it would kind of make sense. We've only seen variants of him played by him.
Clearly, that was signed before any of the
oh God, yeah,
the strikes because
I like what they're building with Kang. I don't want them to just scrap it for Doctor Doom. I mean, and are they just going to scrap it, like start over? Like not start over, but like are they just going to like Kang was defeated in Ant-Man Quantumania and we just never see him again?
Should this be the time where they just say who gives a fuck and just keep employing the guy?
Kobe Bryant kept playing basketball after the rape allegations. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but like let him do his job. You don't have to be a fan of him. Separate the person. I mean, there's plenty of people. We talked about Tom Cruise. Before I like Tom Cruise now. Before I liked him, I still watched his movies because they were good.
Right.
And I understand that he's accused of some pretty horrific shit. I'm not saying that it's okay.
Right.
But I mean, fuck. I mean, and if you're Kevin Feige, you gotta want to just punch him in the face so bad for what he's done because it was all teed up. They built it up. They introduced him in Loki. He was good. They bring him back in Ant-Man Quantumania. He was good in that movie. The movie itself wasn't great, but he was good as Kang. And then they do season 2 of Loki, and it really looks like it's going to be this big thing. And now everything you're reading online is it's for nothing. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oy vey. Maron.
Yikes.
Well,
speaking of that, that's probably a good time to take a break here from our sponsor, Chris's Clippers.
This episode of the Too Critical Podcast is brought to you by Chris's Clippers. Chris's Clippers, when you absolutely positively have to have someone cut your hedges who has a 4-year college degree. Chris's Clippers. Call us today. If not, go fuck yourself.
Chris's Clippers. Thank you very much. I would love to see Tom Cruise in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We talked about all those scenes where you show him running, right? Take one of those sequences and in the middle of one of those classic running sequences, the suit ends up jumping off a building and then into the suit somehow. Or Tom Cruise is the guy that's better when he's out of the suit than Robert Downey Jr. ever would be. Because he could act like a spy and just be doing stuff in a tuxedo.
But that's why, I
it'd
think
be just as interesting.
I think Downey Jr. is better for Tony Stark. But that's why I think Tom Cruise is perfect for Nick Fury.
Right.
I don't think Tom Cruise would have been a better Tony Stark. I don't. He doesn't have the sarcastic ability that Downey Jr. does. It works so well with what they did.
Tom Cruise. I like Tom Cruise the few times he's been like drunk on camera though. Like when he's done like the Jerry Maguire
Thunder?
Tom Cruise was funny when he was drunk with the kid. He's like, the fucking zoo's closed, Ray. Like he had some funny moments, and then he also does.
But I think Nick Fury, I think he can do some sarcastic shit, not for nothing, especially if they bring Downey Jr. back and he's
Right.
Iron Man and Tom Cruise is his Fury.
Yeah,
I think they could do some really good stuff with that.
yeah.
Jackman's Wolverine with that Fury. Can you imagine if that Fury talks to Deadpool?
I feel like Tom Cruise and Hugh Jackman don't even belong in the same room as far as the caliber actors that they are with the rest of that group. I feel like
Oh,
they
I think-
eclipse everybody in that room.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you were saying that. I thought you were trying to say that Jackman isn't in Cruise's caliber. I was going to argue pretty hard on that one.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. They're definitely up there. I mean, Harrison Ford's about to be Thunderbolt Ross. I mean, say what you want, but career-wise, he's there too. I mean, maybe not now, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Marvel's got a lot going on. They said they're going to make Thor 5. They announced they were going to do without Taika Waititi, and then Taika Waititi later on announced that he didn't want to do Thor 5. I mean, okay, you can't fire me. I quit. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Did you see what he said? What he said yesterday?
Probably that they'll fail without him. I don't know.
He said he didn't read any of that stuff. He said he never would read any of that stuff. Didn't understand any of it even after he did.
The comics, you mean?
Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said I did that movie because I needed to send my kids to school. That's what he said.
Which is fine because he did Ragnarok was great.
Right.
Like you can do things your way. But how did he watch the final cut of Thor: Love and Thunder and go, yeah, nailed it?
I think because it's one of those things where they just said, we're just going to let you do whatever you want to do.
And he has no passion for it, so he doesn't care if he ruins it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, say what you want about Affleck. Like, he wanted to be a good Batman. He cared about being a good Batman.
Well, the fact that he tried to make his own Batman movie for like 12 years,
Yeah.
and then he was writing his own movie and stuff like that.
And then he got drunk, and Jennifer Lopez told him he had to leave.
Did you see that clip yesterday?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Holy good God.
I mean, I don't know
Her
what he's
face,
having.
she looks like a hostage.
I don't know what he's on, but I'll have some.
Right.
I mean, that guy, he was
When
feeling
are
better.
the Israelis giving her back? That's what I want to know.
He was feeling better than anyone has ever felt. I mean,
he does that mumble like he's trying to say 9 words all at the same time, right? And he like winds his head up, like trying to get the words to like fall out of his face.
he was. I clicked on the link you sent me without my audio on by accident, and I knew this was a video of him being drunk before I heard it. I just saw the look on his face and went, "The guy's shit faced."
When he said, "That's my wife, Jennifer," that's something like a child with special needs would say, right? Say like, "That's my mom, Jennifer."
He was drunker than Long Duck Dong on Grandpa's lawn. Canine cologne.
Oh, no more Yankee, my wanky. The donga need food.
Oh man.
He's 3 sheets to the wind. Hey Harold, I found your Chinaman. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I wish Tom Cruise would be in the MCU somehow. I wish they would.
They have the ability, if they're going to go through with Secret Wars, they have the ability when they're done to cast any person to play anything. Chris Evans can come back as Captain America. Chris Evans could be Johnny Storm. Chris Evans could be Quicksilver. I mean, they can do whatever they want, and they'll have a way to make it make sense. But this is their last. We can do whatever we want. I know that there's probably others in the comics. They can't do this every 10 years. So I recommend resetting with younger actors who want to play the characters for a long time. If you're going to start with a new Wolverine that isn't Jackman, don't make it a 40-year-old. Make it someone that's 26 that you can get 20 years out of this.
Right.
I mean, I know that a lot of people question. I used to say that Marvel never has an end date on it. And a lot of people question, like, how much longer can they go with the MCU? I dread the day that they reset and reboot and start over when they pull a DC and just say we're starting everything from scratch. I mean, it opens the doors to do some cool things the day that they do that. but I'm not looking forward to that. I want to see they've got so much source material still that they don't have to do that. They can keep going with what they have. But again, even with Tom Holland, how much longer, if they only come out with a Spider-Man movie every 6 years, how much longer is Holland going to be Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I mean, is he going to be 50 playing Peter Parker?
Yeah, but he's like a Michael J. Fox type where he perpetually looks 14.
I understand
You
that
know?
right now, but
His body doesn't feel that way. Trust me. Just ask Dave.
I just don't know. I think that with the way they're doing things now, where they want to tell 20 stories at once, it's really hard to age these actors. Like when they were making Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, there wasn't 15 years between Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 3.
Right.
There might be 15 years between Spider-Man Far From Home and then not the next Spider-Man movie, but like the one after that. It could be.
Yeah.
If they're going to keep making Thor movies and bring in new characters and make a Nova movie and do Secret Wars and the Young Avengers and everything else that they're going to do.
When did you become an expert in thermonuclear astrophysics?
Last night.
They have to start looking at the age of these people. Samuel L. Jackson cannot be Nick Fury in 10 years.
He doesn't want to be.
They'll recast him. They'll get Christopher Walken.
Wouldn't you go the other way?
Wow, this
with the
guy's got
CGI
powers.
and tell everybody, look, I give you permission to do whatever you want with my image and my likeness. He's got so much money, it doesn't matter now. Say, do whatever you want. Wouldn't just as a goof. So if you were Harrison Ford, if Harrison Ford told Lucasfilm, yeah, you do whatever you want with my likeness, you can have it for the rest of for eternity, right? Wouldn't that be so funny? 30 years after he's gone, they're still putting him in stuff. That'd be hilarious.
They'll pay him for it. Like,
right.
They don't want to. The biggest swing and a miss. How is there not already a series out, let alone starting production, on a Luke Skywalker series starring Sebastian Stan? I mean, they found a character that looks just like their title character. You know, their biggest movie that has ever come out.
A bankable
franchise.
Bankable character. Yep.
And
no priors.
He happens to look exactly the right age as Luke right after Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And he looks just fucking like him. Oh, and by the way, he's an action star who's in good shape.
Right. And wanted to play him. It's
so fucking perfect.
Yep.
We were joking earlier about, Benedict Cumberbatch is perfect for, Doctor Strange. Sebastian Stan, the first time that I saw the CGI version of the deep fake of Luke in The Mandalorian, I was like, that's Sebastian Stan. It looks, and I don't know how I didn't notice until I read it. I mean, this isn't like I didn't come up with this. Other people had said it first. I never noticed how much he looks like Mark Hamill.
You never saw him in a size 7 salad bowl haircut. That's probably why.
Yeah, it's true. Unbelievable. I mean, you want to talk about it writes itself. Give me the stories of what he did after Return of the Jedi. I'd watch that in a second.
Doesn't that prove to you, though, how much management isn't aware of all those conversations that people are having online?
I mean, I don't know how they're not in the forums, on Twitter, searching those things, reading it.
So James Gunn yesterday, I believe, said that he considers fan castings. He actually considers,
what fans recommend.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a terrible thing.
Well, it's so easy to do. Like we've seen the mock-ups of Alan Ritchson from Reacher dressed in the Batman suit. Like that guy is a no-brainer for Batman to me. No-brainer.
I don't love the actor, but I mean, I know in Batman
he's
a lot
a monster.
Of him, he was in a lot of the comics and in the cartoons, he was a mammoth of a man.
Yes.
Not, no offense to Michael Keaton, but he's not exactly the most intimidating person.
Right.
And I get why when they originally did Keaton, they needed Keaton, not to get a massive guy.
And again, you wouldn't even need like an enhanced suit. It's just a fucking bodysuit. Speaking of Batman, do you like
special guest Kevin Conroy?
You just hear shoveling. Do you like video games, Rob? So do I.
Game begin.
Join us on April 6th and 7th, 2024 for Connecticut's terrific gamer convention, CT GamerCon, the area's #1 esports, tabletop gaming, and cosplay event. Join us for competitive video gaming, esports, for cool prizes, free play of your favorites, retro gaming, arcade classics, it's all here. Plus, CT Gamer and AnimeCon is also a celebration of Magic the Gathering, Dungeons & Dragons, Pokemon, and more. Sit down with your friends and play your favorite tabletop and RPG games all weekend at the spacious Mohegan Sun Convention Center. Get ready to shop for awesome artwork, gaming supplies, statues, action figures, Funko Pops, anime collectibles, cool clothes, and more in our dealer showcase. Don't miss our cosplay contest on Sunday, April 7th. Go to ctgamercon.com for tickets and hotel information. CT GamerCon and anime.
Game over.
CT GamerCon, go to ctgamercon.com for
I
all
was
your
just gonna
ticket
say-
info. Is that
I
as
was just gonna-
loud? Is that as loud to you as it is to me?
It was very
Incredibly
loud, and for anyone that doesn't watch the YouTube video that only listens, they have no clue what the fuck just happened. They just had
I'll probably have to fix it later on and lay down.
they just had a minute long like
If you want to do the robot in your car right now, please go ahead. Here's the music. Yeah, I hope that's not as loud as it was for us. I
it
don't
was
know why.
very loud in my ears.
I don't know
I'm
why
not
it
gonna
was
lie.
that loud. Why?
Yeah, it was super loud.
Oh,
But
wow.
I mean, we look at the situation with Jonathan Majors, and I mean, obviously, the first thing I think of is Ezra Miller and what happened with the Flash.
What happened to him?
Well, what happened to him is the movie wasn't good.
Yeah.
Because I think if the movie was good, they were still going to work with him.
It sounded like they wanted to.
They thought that movie was going to perform. I
Yep.
did. I have been anti-DC for a long time.
Yep.
I saw the first trailer for that, and I called you, and I was like, "Holy shit! It actually looks good."
Yep.
And it just wasn't. And I mean, so now, I mean, I'm worried about Marvel. At least Marvel's still like Marvel. Like DC's got what do they have right now? They have Blue Beetle.
That's
They-
it. They got nothing. Well, Aquaman 2 is coming out soon.
That's a nothing. That's
They
going to do horrible.
they say it's gonna open with less box office than the Marvels.
The Marvels was a piece of shit.
I know, but
Tracking for a 32 to 42 million domestic opening weekend.
over 200 million to make.
They are probably not going to get to 200 million.
No,
But they always need tax write-offs.
they sure got them.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know
When-
why you wouldn't.
When's Peacemaker 2 coming out? I know that I understand that like he's got bigger fish to fry now, but Peacemaker's the only thing they've come out with that was actually enjoyable.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he does all that and then dedicates his time to Superman. And what's the deal with the cast of Superman? They're turning it into like a new Justice League. There's like, I saw like 8 people announced in that movie, and they were like all other big superheroes. It's not just Superman in the new movie. Did you see the list?
I'll pull it up right now.
Pull that list up for me, will you?
Mr. Terrific is one of them. Guy Gardner. Is this actually Nathan Fillion's playing the
Yep.
Flash or the Green Lantern?
Yep. Or one of the Green Lanterns.
Hawk Girl,
Yep.
Lois Lane, Metamorpho. Every actor cast. Here we go. All right. All right. Obviously, we have Superman, Lois Lane. Oh, I didn't even realize it was the marvelous Miss Maisel. It was Lois Lane.
Yep.
My wife loves her.
She's pretty good.
Skylar Gisondo is Jimmy Olsen.
Yep. Goofy face.
Yeah. Nicholas Holt is Lex Luthor.
Right.
Sarah Sampaio as Eve Tessmacher.
Tessmacher. Yep.
Maria Gabriela de Faria as
God bless you.
Angela Spica, aka the engineer.
It's AKA the housemaid.
Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner, aka Green Lantern.
It's Guy Gardner, by the way.
It's not Guy.
It's Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner.
It's not Guy Gardner.
No.
Spelt like Guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the chick that played Dora the Explorer is playing Hawk Girl. Igai Gathegi as Michael Holt, aka Mr. Terrific, and Anthony Kerrigan as Rex Mason, aka Metamorpho.
Yeah, that's a lot of superheroes for just a Superman reboot. I thought we were getting.
Yeah, but is it a reboot? Like, are they? I don't think it's going to be an origin, is it? I don't even know. I don't fucking care. No one cares. I'm going to rip the fucking head off. We did too much. I don't want to be here anymore.
Well, speaking of that, we're at the 36-minute mark. So, yeah, Marvel will never involve Tom Cruise in their projects. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. The amount of physical, practical stunt work that they could do that would take it to another level with him as
I think
would be incredible.
if they do, you really want to stick it to DC.
Yeah.
If DC is considering Alan Rickson as Batman and hasn't closed it, which obviously they haven't,
Right.
I mean, bring him in for something. If you're gonna, especially if you're gonna start over, there's plenty of characters that are supposed to be huge in the comics. I mean, I don't think he should be Thor, but I mean, he could.
He could totally be Thor.
He really could. Like
Yeah.
Hemsworth, even though I hated Thor: Love and Thunder, Hemsworth's still Thor though. Like that's.
And Hemsworth said that they're going to kill Thor off in the next movie.
Yeah, but no one's dead forever.
Right.
They can kill him off in the movie. He'll be back in the sequel.
Right. Yeah.
They did it with Superman. I mean, he died in Batman vs. Superman, and then he was right back in Justice League.
Yep.
Not a big deal.
Yep. Look at Kobe.
This episode of the Too Critical Podcast is brought to you by Chris's Clippers. Chris's Clippers, when you absolutely positively have to have someone cut your hedges who has a 4-year college degree. Chris's Clippers. Call us today. If not, go fuck yourself.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Chris's Clippers. Yeah, so it ain't gonna happen. Fingers crossed for good things for Marvel, but I don't know. Looks kind of bleak.
It does not look great.
It does not look great. All right. That does it for us today. That was a quick one.
Yeah, it was.
Hopefully next time we come on, we're going to have a guest. We've been trying to line up a couple of people, and
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. And we're going to get back into the swing of things here and try to put out some content at least once or twice a week. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching Too Critical Podcast. Rob, any last words?
No, I think we put a bow on that one pretty well. We'll see. I hope we're wrong. I hope we see him someday in Marvel, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I agree. All right, buddy. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching and listening to the Too Critical Podcast. If you like us, tell your friends. If your friends like us, get some new friends.
Ra-da-da-da-doo.